Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of AI Climbing with Sheikh. And thank you very much for your engagement and continuous feedback. And based on your feedback, I will change gears a bit and move from the coding view towards the more architecture and principle view of the world. And as I always used to say that you really need to see both view of the world, right? Like yes, there is a lot of tech and then lot of frameworks and ways to solve it, but then there is a product and commercial and the real industry side of the house. So you really need to understand that what work you are doing, how you can convert it into something that really works. And when it comes to like something that really works, nothing can explain it better than the issues regarding both the security as well as the trust aspects around AI, right? And that will be our topic today. And just to set the scene, right, there are a lot of tools already existing in the open source AI which you can use to actually solve some of the issues. I will give you an example with the Red Hat OpenShift AI on which I was working quite closely, and there are three frameworks that you should be looking, and two of them actually you can integrate within your workbench, right? One is the guardrails, and again what the guardrails do, like all of the issues relating to the safety structure and content rules and whether it is compliant, right? You can actually just install through the pip install and then you can use it into your workbench. The other one is more like the fairness, accuracy, and all those metrics, and it is called LM evaluation harness, right? Or simple LM evaluation. And what it can actually show you is, right, like for all of the open source models, which is part of the ecosystem, mainly Hugging Face, Granite models, and few others, you can actually during the pipeline call it and it can give you lot of metrics about the accuracy basis and others. And one more thing which is important to call out here is trusty AI, right? And trusty AI becomes super critical because many of the issues around the AI explainability, right? It actually gives you lot of metrics and try to link and explain it in the way, right? And in a nutshell, you can consider it more like an audit tool, and that is deployed as a standalone or a sidecar containers, and all of the results from your model you can talk through an API with this. But I really wanted to set a scene because now I will try to go a dip bit into this topic. And how I want to actually set the scene, as you can see over here, that I mean, issues around the security and trust, right? Like because we are seeing lot of frameworks and agents, rags, graphs, and lot of people are doing lot of cool things. But the thing is, right, as you are developing those LLMs and the question is really coming to the point that can we really trust those systems, right? And how secure are those? And in this video, I will be touching about the problem and the possible tooling and solution around that. So let's try to first understand the problem, right? The thing is, right, we have this default notion of trust that AI system is impenetrable, and you can actually trust whatever is coming out of it, which is very rarely true. And then the reality is actually there are a lot of ways to attack those models and sniff those. There are prompt injections, adversarial inputs, data leaks, model manipulation, hallucinations, you name it. And then most important, the people who are not willing to trust it, right? And that is why it's very important to understand the different aspects around the cloud native security tooling, how you can use it and make those systems feature rich and secure and trustworthy. And here I will give you a sort of summary around that. And the first part is more around the, I should say, the platform tools, right, and the monitoring tools. And let me first start from the platform tools, because again, the idea is for an AI, ultimately you will be deploying on some sort of platform, a cloud platform in this case. And there are different aspects to bringing security, right? Because ultimately it will have some aspect of platform security, which becomes native part of your model security as well. And when it comes to the platform tools for the LLM, naturally, this there are a lot of RBAC solutions like the Keycloak, which is more like the IDM sort of solutions. And the thing is, through an SSO, you can protect and manage those platform and all of those models. And cluster role admins, which is classic security mechanisms on Kubernetes, and vaults, which is to keep all your secrets. And the most important thing, right, which is the SPIFE and SPIRE, and this is more like the federated security and service identities, right? I am sure anyone work on the cloud is aware, and it naturally helps for the LLMs as well, because you really need to consider LLM as an application on those platforms. Then there is a lot of thing on around the networking side. So you can see both Calico and Cilium for policy driven and identity aware network security. And similarly, Falco, which is doing a lot of system level intrusion detection in real time. And then the last piece, which is very much related to the AI specific security aspects, like the adversarial robustness toolkit, again, is an open source tool that you can deploy. And it can actually give you a test results against many adversarial attacks. They called the red blue teams and others. Again, lot of tools coming from the big players, like in this case Nvidia has a tool which they call Garak, and it can detect lot of toxic and unsafe model outputs, right? And then there is a again a open source tool, privacy meter, that quantifies potential data leakages from the models. And I really want you, like, if you go and try and use those things, right, and that actually becomes the first starting point from the platform security side, right? And now if I go towards the monitoring thing, because platform is one thing, right? And you deploy your tool once and then use it for the next several years, a lot of upgrades and day two in this time. So it's really important that we view this modern AI stack from the monitoring and security from the LLM and overall applications. And again, I will start from the platform aspect, which is more like the dashboarding and monitoring. As you can see, Prometheus and Grafana, is the standard way to collect all of the metrics, visualizations, and deep checks for AI specific validations over here. And moving forward, if we can see in terms of data security, on the storage level, on the disk encryption level, Lux, which is, on the Linux or OS level, lot of mechanisms that ensures and monitors security aspects. And if I go like towards the model integrity side, so as you can see over here, right, again, there are a lot of signing and co-sign tooling and mechanisms through which you can sign your models and make sure, right, they are aligned in a way. Then comes to threat detection again, deep checks, right? This is one of the more like tool, and what it do, it add automated AI model integrity checks, right? So lot of like the checks in terms of the life cycle of the models and whether there is any vulnerability. Consider it like a container scan. And then again, we have Falco and Tetragon, and they monitor the platform security in a way. And Falco is specifically important, and I touched into the last slide as well. The last piece, which is very important, is the S bombs or CI/CD side of the house. And as you can see, the SPDX and Cyclone DX, this is important piece, and you really need to view whatever you deploy, right? Just like hardware has a bomb, so software also have a bombs, and that is pretty much the idea over here. And then we have this Trevi and Clear to scan the container images for any sort of vulnerabilities. Again, Clear is very common tool which we use for all of the image and container scanning on the platform, and same applies to the LLM or NNX models as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the bigger picture. But then again, I really want to touch in the form of ELK or the like the log stash and logging thing, right? You can really use it to analyze all of the traffic and tracing of the models and detect any anomalies, right? And again, in terms of hotel or open telemetry, distributed tracing of your AI request across services, especially when you distribute it, it becomes really critical for debugging and any sort of performance bottlenecks in the pipeline. So yeah, that was, I think, a sort of, key updates which I really wanted to share with you. And yeah, let's now try to like understand a path of conclusion or the bigger picture, right? And to make the AI trustworthy, it's very important that you build the applications and models which are observable, right? Like with the tools like Prometheus, ELK, and Open Telemetry. Secure with mechanisms like RBAC, security, and encrypted networks, and integrity. Again, model integrity is very important. The mechanism like the cosign, notary, and SBOM tools. And then again, in terms of adversarial testing, right? It's very important that you proactively test your models and manage it. Otherwise, I mean, it's like not gonna like be sustainable way. And privacy metrics to measure and reduce sensitive data exposure, again something very important and critical. And like you talk about MLOps, we talk about DevOps. So there is another concept which is continuously evolving in the model space, and that is called data ops. Again, in the open source world, we are use Pachyderm, which is doing a lot of this data versioning and governance. So it's very important, right? Like that you approach it in the way, right? So again, if I call when you build your systems, observability, security, model integrity, adversarial testing, and privacy metrics. And yeah, I think that's pretty much almost all for today. And if I just want to like close it, so it's very important whether you a data scientist, a MLOps engineer, or a tech leader, you really need to give value and merit to the make AI secure and trustworthy. And you must try to integrate the tools necessary for your use case in the workflow. And yeah, that's pretty much all. Go try, and in the successive episodes, naturally, I will be giving you some demos of it. And go try and learn and win the day. And if you like our channel and you see value, then don't forget to subscribe and share your comments. And let's try to keep learning and keep climbing the great world of AI, and together with AI climbing with Sheikh. Thank you very much for joining me today. Bye.